240937 OM, 240938 OM, 240939 OM, 240940 OM, 24.
I'm sorry, Judge. That's a different set of case numbers. I've got 2409.
All right. You want to do
I can do it. Sure. I've got case numbers 240956 OM, 240957 OM, 240958 OM, 240959 OM, 2409 0960 OM, 240961 OM, 240962 OM, 240963 OM, 240964 OM, 240965 OM, 240966 OM, 240967 OM, 240968 OM, 240969 OM, 240970 OM, 240971 OM, 240972 OM, 240973 OM, 240974 OM, 240975 OM, and 240976 OM.
Okay, may I have appearances for the record?
Good afternoon, Robert Easterly on behalf of the city.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. May it please this honorable court, Cooper Dobies, P number 87722 on behalf of Alpha Sigma Phi fraternity.
Thank you. And should we have Mr. Brune do an appearance on behalf, naming his role with the fraternity?
I'm Gavin Brown Brown, and I'm the chapter president of Alpha Sigma Phi.
Okay, thank you. So, gentlemen, we are here because Alpha Sigma Phi has been accused of multiple counts of tampering with smoke detection, fire prevention devices, and also in counts of blocking the means of egress from the building. There's fire safety hazards. These are misdemeanors, punishable by up to 90 days in jail and or $500 in fines each. At this time, Mr. Dobies, does your client waive arraignment?
Yes, my client does waive arraignment in all of these matters, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. So, Attorney Easterly, would you like to proceed?
Thank you, Judge. The parties have reached a plea agreement on these matters whereby the fraternity will plead guilty to 11 counts of tampering with a smoke detector. This is in violation of the International Fire Code as adopted by the East Lansing City Charter. And this would be section 901.8 of that code. Each one of those carries a $500 fine. Additionally, as a part of this plea agreement, the fraternity will agree to submit 200 hours of community service so that the individuals that are involved here kind of have some skin in the game and understand the importance and the public safety importance of what is happening here today.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Dobies, is that an accurate statement?
That is, Your Honor. I would also add that I believe the parties have agreed to that $500 fine in each count, whereas that community service hours, that would be not per count, but that would be a sum total of the community service hours. But with that understanding, yes, I agree that it is a complete and full and accurate statement of the agreement between the parties.
Okay. Now, because we have a corporate entity, I'm not quite sure how we go about eliciting a factual basis. Would we do that by asking Mr. LeBrun?
It's my understanding, Your Honor, that Mr. LeBrun has authority. I spoke with Mr. LeBrun earlier today. It's my understanding he has authority to represent the fraternity in this matter. I believe he placed on the record his leadership role with the fraternity, and himself He was not personally named in any of these counts, so I believe he would be the appropriate party to represent the fraternity in this matter.
So Mr. LeBrun, could you please raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear, promise, or affirm to tell the truth to the best of your ability under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. Thank you. You may put your hand down. Thank you. All right. So when a person, or in this case, a corporate person, is charged with a crime, they have certain rights. And one of those rights is to have the charges heard at trial. At a trial, the prosecutor would have to bring evidence, and the person or the representative of the corporate entity could question that evidence. The prosecutor would bring witnesses, and the corporate entity could question those witnesses, or the corporate entity could call witnesses of their own. And if those witnesses didn't want to appear, the court could issue a subpoena and make them appear. The corporate entity, through its corporeal members, could testify or remain silent. And if they remain silent, no one could use that silence against them. And the corporate entity or its representatives could bring any evidence they wished, or they could just sit there because it's the prosecutor's job to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. If the court accepts this plea today, the corporate entity, through its representatives, will be giving up its rights to a trial and all of the rights that are associated with it. Do you understand that?
I believe so.
Okay. What questions do you have?
The only question I can think of is for the community service hours. Are those going to be scheduled hours by you guys, or is that going to be on us to kind of?
I think that'll come up a bit later, but Attorney Easterly and Attorney Dobies, I think, will work that out.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's accurate, Your Honor. Yes.
Yeah, they'll work it out, and Attorney Dobies will then report back to Attorney Easterly. Okay. If I accept a guilty plea today, the corporate entity, through you, its representative, will be giving up its rights to a trial and all of the rights associated with a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Did anyone threaten anyone at the organization to get this guilty plea accomplished?
No.
Okay. Did anyone make any promises other than perhaps the promise that individual members would be relieved of responsibility?
No.
Okay. Are you pleading guilty on behalf of the organization because it is the organization's wish to plead guilty? Does, well, would you like a moment with Mr. Dobies, or?
Yeah, if you want to put us into a breakout room, Your Honor, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
I can
Pause for a moment.
I can facilitate that.
The parties have returned from the breakout room.
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, thanks. So I was swearing a warrant. So we are back on the record in the matter of People versus Alpha Sigma Pi. And the defense attorney, Mr. Dobies, had an opportunity to consult with his client. So we were in the process of taking a plea. And Mr. LeBrun, if you could turn on your camera and microphone. Oh, Mr. LeBrun, maybe we could chat him. Okay, well, we need at least the microphone.
He said he was having difficulties with his camera and microphone.
Okay. Oh, yep. He looks like he just put. Okay.
Maybe have him log out and log back in.
Yeah. Try that if he can hear us. Hold on. I will. Let's see.
This is going to be a series of pleas and nolles that we're not going to forget anytime soon. So
Hello.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
okay, there we go. All right, so we are back from the breakout room, and Mr. LeBrun, did you have an opportunity to have all of your questions answered by your attorney?
Yes.
Okay, so we were in the process of taking a plea, and the question we had reached was, are you pleading guilty on behalf of the organization because it is the fraternity's wish to plead guilty?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Did anyone threaten you or
No.
anyone in the organization to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Did anyone make any promises other than, oh, excuse me. I think we covered that. So how does Alpha Sigma Pi plead to the charges of tampering with smoke detector or fire detection device?
We plead guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Easterly, would you like to do the factual basis?
Yes. So, Mr. LeBrun, is it true that on September 12th of this year, there were a series, the East Lansing Fire Department did an inspection of the house and found that there were at least 6 smoke detectors that were covered,
Yes.
and those were covered intentionally.
Yes.
And that was basically a part of a party or something to that effect that was happening. And so members of the house covered those up.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And then is it also true that on December 3rd, there was another inspection by the East Lansing Fire Department and at least 5 of the smoke detectors in the house were covered up?
Yes.
And that was also done intentionally, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I believe that that satisfies the factual basis, Judge.
Thank you. Attorney Dobies.
That does satisfy the factual basis as far as I'm concerned as well. Thank you.
Let me button that up with just one thing. And the location we're talking about, the house we're talking about, is that located at 128 Collingwood in the city of East Lansing?
Correct.
And to the best of your knowledge, is that located in Ingham County and the state of Michigan?
Yes.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, was covering or tampering with those devices a volitional act? Someone meant to do that?
I believe so.
Okay. Okay, I think the court is satisfied. So court accepts the plea. The conviction against the fraternity is entered. Has the court complied with all court rules?
It has, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Doby?
Yes, Your Honor, they have.
Okay, so how would you like to proceed into, should we segue into sentencing?
Please, Judge, what I would ask, the agreement, the Killebrew agreement on this between the parties would be a $500 fine on the 11 counts of tampering. So that would be a total of $5,500. And then in addition, the fraternity would be responsible for completing 200 hours of community service. I think offline, I would be able to get with their counsel to establish what that process would look like for reporting that back.
And that's 200 hours combined for all of you. That's not 100 individually. And Mr. Dobies, would you like to be heard on sentencing?
I would concur with the city attorney in this matter. I believe immediate sentencing would be appropriate in this matter, if only because this is a corporate entity that is the defendant in this matter. So I don't think there's any sort of need for any sort of pre-sentence investigation report or anything to that effect. I'm not even sure really how that would work, to be honest with you. So I think immediate sentencing is very appropriate. And Mr. Easterly, the city attorney, put on a complete outline of what the Killebrew agreement is in this matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. LeBrun, would you like to be heard on behalf of the fraternity?
I don't think I have anything else to say.
Okay. Okay. If you had anything to say, I would happily listen to you. But if you don't have anything to say, that's your choice too, and it won't be held against you. So the court is going to issue the sentence to the corporate entity of fines, $500 per offense, with totaling $5,500. Costs, $300 city code, $75 crime victim rights fund, $50 justice system assessment. I think that will cover it. Mr. LeBrun, as I told your brothers before you, seconds matter when there's a fire. Seconds matter, and that's why it's absolutely important. I'm not sure what your fraternity members think of the old people who live here year round. They probably think we're a pain on the neck who expects them to clean up the red Solo cups, which is true, actually. And we do not allow the stuffed furniture outside, although it's surprisingly hard to write a law saying no indoor furniture outside. Remember the previous city manager tried to figure out the legal wording for that. It was trickier than it looks. But we take responsibility for your safety. We want you to come here and have generally happy memories of the University of East Lansing and Michigan State University. That's why it is so important that we do that, because if anything were to go wrong, we could never face your parents and tell them that we did not respond when we knew that you were in danger. So, because you are a leader of this organization, the other members look up to you. I ask you, I beg you, anytime you see anyone just wants to smoke a cigarette or what have you, they want to move some furniture in front of that egress door just to get it out of the way. This is why it is so important. If the fire trucks were to come, if there was a fire, the firefighters would have no idea how many people were in that building or exactly where they'd be or where to look at them. Half the fraternity could be gone at a basketball game or something, but they'd have to keep looking for all of you. Or you could be having one of the mixers and have a lot of guests over, and the fire department would have to be able to get everyone out of that building safely. That's why it's important. We don't do this or attach criminal penalties to it just to be a nuisance. It's because we imagine the worst case scenario and how we're going to get you out of it. Okay. Now, I am absolutely confident that you will never see me again in your life unless you go to law school and come back to be an intern here, in which case you'd be more than welcome. Gentlemen, I think this concludes this proceeding. Attorney Easterly?
I believe so, Judge. I will submit a plea sheet to the court just so that the record is there as well.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dobies?
I believe it does. Mr. LeBrun, just be prepared to receive that documentation at the fraternity house address, and it will outline all of the fee schedules that the judge mentioned. So have you or someone else that is, well, preferably you, be checking the mail, and just look out for all that information from the court.
Okay, are those going to be coming in relatively like soon, like over this winter break?
It is very possible, yes. So if anyone is remaining at the house over the break, just direct them to do the same thing, to be looking out for the mail.
Do you have like a house parent or a caretaker of the house?
No, we don't.
No one? Really? Man, fraternities are a whole different world. Okay, well, is there someone who can, someone maybe relatively close by?
Yeah, I can figure that out separately, but yeah, if I have to, I can come back up and check.
Okay.
I appreciate that. So monitor that. Yeah, thank you.
Right. Okay, thank you all, gentlemen. That is all for this record. Have a good day. Have a
Thank
great
you, Your
night.
Honor.